This week on the Brisbane Channel's Greater Brisbane Update, we've got everything from wheelchairs on the top of the Story Bridge to rogue mould, and also the channel's very first giveaway, with 10 double passes to the preview screening of a fresh new horror film from the producers of Smile up for grabs. So let's get to it. Firstly, this week saw the launch of the world's first ever accessible bridge climb. Now people can climb the Story Bridge in a wheelchair. The Story Bridge Adventure Climb has perfected the design of a special chair with caterpillar tracks that can take people who are unable to walk to the top of the bridge to enjoy the view, just as those without a disability have been able to do for years. They officially launched the accessible climb on Wednesday, and 2021 Queensland Australian of the Year, Dinesh Palipana, went up with his family and friends.
It's been amazing. It was really smooth to come up, and it's just so beautiful. And so to be up here and seeing Brisbane, it's magic. It's incredible.
But this has been a long time in the making. The Brisbane Channel has a special video on the way looking at what went on behind the scenes to make all of this possible. The Brisbane Channel was granted exclusive access to film the first time they conducted a trial with someone in the chair, and I've been interviewing people who were involved from the early stages in making it a reality. Make sure you're subscribed and keep your eye out for that video in the near future. I'll also reveal some pretty cool things planned for the future in that video. This week, CoreLogic released some figures relating to changes in dwelling values, and while we know Brisbane property values continue to rise, one significant piece of information in CoreLogic's report is that homes that saw the largest increase over the last 3 months to March are the more affordable ones. Homes in the highest 25% of values saw a negligible increase compared to the cheapest 25%, and those in the middle 50% were, well, in between. So unfortunately, it's the most affordable housing that is becoming less affordable. Happy days. In an initiative intended to support increased supply of housing, the Queensland Government has opened the first round of applications for its Residential Activation Fund, which is a pool of $2 billion to support the goal of adding to supply with 1 million new homes by 2044. This round will see $500 million on offer to support infrastructure such as water supply, sewerage, stormwater drainage, power and roads for infill and greenfield sites that are ready for development. Infill is undeveloped or underutilised land in existing urban areas, and greenfield is land at the edge of urban areas or in rural areas. While areas within Greater Brisbane are eligible, half of the total grant amount will go to regional areas. One development that would not be eligible is the proposed 38-storey office tower that will incorporate heritage buildings, including the Exchange Hotel and Panola Place on Edward Street in downtown Brisbane. The design features cross-block connections between Edward Street, Charlotte Street, and the grounds of St Stephen's Cathedral. The application put into council outlines compliance with Brisbane's Buildings That Breathe design framework, with layered facades, sun shading devices, natural air circulation, and rooftop solar panels. End-of-trip facilities for active transport users and inclusive access routes are also proposed. The developers are hoping for a 5 Green Star rating for the building. Not too far away, a construction project that is nearing completion is the new theatre at the southern end of QPAC. This week, as QPAC celebrates its 40-year anniversary, members of the public are invited to vote on a name for the new theatre when it opens to performances for the first time next year. There are currently 4 pre-selected options: Glasshouse Theatre, Lantern Theatre, Russell Street Theatre, and Watershed Theatre. The last one's ironic considering construction was delayed due to flooding. But you can also suggest another name. Theatery McTheatreface, perhaps? I've put a link to vote in the video description. Submissions close on May 10 at 5 p.m. Whatever it ends up being called, the 1,500-seat theatre will look stunning, and if you want your home or business to look amazing, you may want to get in touch with the sponsors of this video, YB Painting. Their meticulous attention to detail is impressive, and with fixed pricing and a 5-year warranty on all their work, you can be sure there'll be no unpleasant surprises. If you're thinking of getting some painting work done, you'll get an exclusive 10% discount as a viewer of the Brisbane Channel. Just scan this QR code or click the link in the video description. The state government has launched a new app developed in collaboration with RACQ that utilises AI technology to help discover the next generation of sporting legends. The U for 2032 app assesses the abilities of aspiring athletes using computer vision and artificial intelligence, and can even detect signs of potential in aspiring para-athletes. So far, the app has identified over 2,000 athletes and progressed them into the 3-month trial phase, with 422 already invited to a 12-month development program and 40 selected for high-performance state or national programs. Now let's whip around the LGAs to stay across what's going on across Greater Brisbane. Firstly, in Brisbane, Wynnum residents are invited to share their thoughts on how suburban renewal could breathe life back into the centre of Wynnum. With things like zoning changes to allow for more or different types of housing, revitalisation of public spaces, and improvements to public and active transport, Brisbane City Council are looking to encourage development and employment growth in the area into the future. You can have your say by completing an online survey or dropping a pin with comments on their map of the area. Heading up to Moreton Bay, and Council have brought in an excavator to clear out the tents and belongings of people camped in Eddie Highland Park this week. While Moreton Bay Council amended local laws in February to repeal regulations that allowed people to camp in public spaces, nobody has been fined to date. The council says that everyone that had been issued with notices to comply with regulations had been offered referrals to Specialist Homelessness Services and the Department of Housing. However, Moreton Bay has the longest wait list for public housing in Queensland, and Council has said that the number of people experiencing homelessness has almost doubled over the last 10 years. As mentioned before, I'm working on a video exploring this issue across Greater Brisbane, so keep your eye out for that one a couple of months down the track. If you want to support the Brisbane Channel or say thanks for these updates and other videos, you can buy me a coffee or become a member to get access to extra content and information. Thanks to these members for their continued support. Moving now to Redlands City, and the City Council have responded to a decision by the state government to designate an area of Thornlands a Priority Development Area, or PDA. These are areas identified as having potential for economic, community and social growth, and they are given fast-tracked approval processes to enable them to be developed quickly. The Mayor of Redlands City, Joss Mitchell, has said that as it was a state government decision, the Queensland government would be expected to foot the bill for all infrastructure inside and outside the area that would be required to develop the PDA, and that Redlands City Council's ratepayers would not be expected to contribute to the development costs. She added that the state government must also address a backlog of state infrastructure in Redlands and fast-track critical infrastructure the city would need to service the needs of the growing population, including the eastern busway from Capalaba to Carindale and duplication of the Cleveland rail line. The Mayor also spoke of the need to preserve koala habitats and corridors that must not be threatened by the development, and that these habitats should instead be enhanced. Despite their reservations, Redlands City Council have said they are committed to working collaboratively with the state government agency responsible, while still advocating for adequate infrastructure delivery and funding. Staying in Redlands City, and the Redland Performing Arts Centre has been found to have mould issues. The mould was discovered after ex-tropical cyclone Alfred, originally in areas not accessible to the public. It was then found to have spread to 3 chairs in the concert hall. Council has brought in air filters and had cleaned the detected mould within 3 days of it being detected. Now to Ipswich, and the City Council have moved from collecting and processing both food organics and garden organics as part of their green waste program to just garden organics. They've signed an agreement with Remondis Australia that is initially for 3 years, with the potential to extend an additional 7 years at a cost of $67 million. The facility will process green waste from Ipswich and surrounding councils. The reason the decision to remove the option of having food waste processed for Ipswich residents is that council is trying to reduce waste odour issues the city has been facing in recent years, saying that food waste produces far more odour than garden waste. And now to Logan. Flagstone has been said to be one of the largest greenfield development sites in Australia. The Greater Flagstone PDA is expected to have some 50,000 homes built over the next 30 years, and this week ground was broken on the Flagstone Community Hub, a multi-purpose facility that will open mid-next year. The population of Flagstone is expected to reach 138,000 when fully developed. And now I'm excited to share the first ever giveaway here on the Brisbane Channel. Studio Canal have given the Brisbane Channel 10 double passes to see a great new film before it's released in cinemas on May 8th. Based on the best-selling book and from the producers of Smile comes a terrifyingly enjoyable and thrilling old-school horror for a new generation, Clown in a Cornfield. I've put a link to the trailer in the video description.
Call 911!
Where's the button, Jen? What is this? What
What kind of phone is it?
It does look really fun. Kind of reminds me of those classic 90s slasher films. The special preview screening will be held at Event Cinemas Uptown on Wednesday, May 7th at 6:30 p.m. I'll be giving away 5 Admit 2 tickets to regular viewers and the other 5 to channel members. All you need to do is send me an email with Clown in a Cornfield as the subject, and in the email let me know your full name and the name of your +1. I'll then draw the winners in a live video after next week's weekly update. If you enter as a member of the channel, you'll have a 1 in 10 chance, and that's if all members enter. If you enter as a regular viewer, well, these videos generally get at least 10,000 views, so the odds probably aren't as great, but hey, it's worth a try. Ending on a positive note, and Brisbane Airport, which recently released its new branding, has won the prize for Best Staff in Australia and the Pacific in the 2025 World Airport Awards. YouTube thinks this is the best next video for you to watch. I'll see you there or in the next video. Schaut zu dir.